لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. Don't worry, that's what I'll say first, inshallah. My eyes are on the clock, and I will try to keep it, inshallah, short, concise, mention a few points which are important about why we're here today. And Allah willing, we're here throughout the week, so you hear us. If you want to hear more of us, you can come during the week as well and join in the activities. And if you come earlier for the Jumu'ah prayer, you can listen to us then as well. So these things happen, but inshallah I'll try to convey what I can. Firstly, a few of the brothers that I spoke to, they had some requests. They wanted the clarification on certain things, and obviously we have to consider the fact that we are gathering in this monthly gathering in commemoration of not only the life of Sayyidul Awliya, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiAllahu ta'ala anhu, but in particular the theme this month or today was the life of Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiAllahu ta'ala anhu. And it's a good thing that Usman did his speech first, because he kind of, I don't think I need to get up after that, to be honest with you. But inshallah, a few things. Firstly, this whole concept of starting new things. Why do something which did not take place in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And our simple-minded, sincere Muslims are very easily confused by a word called bid'ah. Someone says innovation did not take place in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. I would just like to give you a few examples. Just clear your mind, and if you remember these principles, inshallah, you will never be affected by any misconceptions. Remember that the principles that have been declared in the religion are such principles which will last until the Day of Judgment. And our deen has such scope that any new things which occur in this world, our deen will cover them as well. As far as new things are concerned, a new thing, as long as it does not contradict the Sharia, as long as it does not go against the will of Allah Almighty, the order of Allah Almighty and His beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no one has any right to call it prohibited. No one has any right to call it a bad action or an evil action. And there are many examples of many things which we do today which were not in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. As far as Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq is concerned, the Quran began when the compilation began in front of him. The companion said to him that the Prophet ﷺ did not order this. And this is in Bukhari. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq said, "Huwa khayr." This is good. This is an act of goodness, meaning although the Prophet ﷺ has not directly ordered us to do what we are doing, this is for the benefit of the ummah, this is for the benefit of the religion. Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he saw the Muslims praying their own Taraweeh, and what did he do? He introduced this, a congregational prayer, Taraweeh prayer. And what did he call it? He called it a good bid'ah. He called it a good innovation. And there are many things, the Quran that we read today, even the clothes that we wear today, even the way that we travel, the food that we eat, all these things fall under this category. As long as what we do and how we behave is not against the Sharia, we do not fall under the category of an innovation of misguidance. An innovation of misguidance is an innovation which changes the law of Allah, which changes the law that has been declared and explained by the Prophet ﷺ. So keep this in mind always, and don't be affected by what people say around you. The conferences that take place, the courses that are going on, many people of different ways of thinking. They have certain conferences and certain courses and certain syllabus, a syllabus for their Dars Nizami courses. All this came after. No one talks about them. It's just a misconception. And when someone criticizes, it's very easy to criticize, but it takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of time to clarify a misconception. May Allah save us from such misconceptions. Secondly, we gather here to donate reward, to make dua for the believers who have passed away, to present the reward of good actions to the Prophet ﷺ, to the other Anbiya alayhim salam, the Sahaba, in fact all the Muslims, and in particular Sayyidul Awliya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiAllahu ta'ala. Well, where did this come from? It comes, the idea of praying for the deceased comes from the Quran. In Surah Hashr. وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَ بِالْإِيمَانِ. And those who come after them, they say, O our Lord, forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in faith. This is Surah Hashr. So praying for those who have passed away, this is from the, we can prove this from the Quran. And then, when someone dies, is that it? Case closed? We can't do anything for him? No. The Prophet ﷺ has made it very clear. We die, case closed for us maybe, but other people can do things, or other things that we may have done in dunya can give us benefit. The Prophet ﷺ gave some examples. That a person dies, his deeds come to an end except for certain things. Example, knowledge that he has given to people. He taught others knowledge. He gave knowledge to other people. That becomes a continuous reward for him even after his death. If he builds a masjid, he makes arrangements to dig up a well, any kind of sadaqah jariyah like that, or even his pious child who prays for his forgiveness, this gives him benefit in the afterlife. And I'll give you some examples very quickly. Sayyiduna Sa'ad, hadith in Abu Dawud, very famous. His mother passed away. He came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, my mother has passed away. What can I do for her? Now, the Prophet ﷺ could have said, she's dead, it's all finished. Why are you asking about what you can do for her? You can't do anything for her. No, he didn't say that. The Prophet ﷺ instructed him and said, water. The donation of water, meaning dig up a well or something like that. And he dug up a well, and that well was referred to as the well of Sa'ad. It was actually attributed to his mother who had passed away. Meaning, when people die, you can still do things to give them benefit. You can still donate reward towards them. Once a companion came to the Prophet ﷺ, the hadith in Musnad Imam Ahmad, he says that when we do things for the deceased, we do good things for them on their behalf, does it actually reach them? The Prophet ﷺ said, not only does it reach them, they are happy the way one of you is happy when you receive a gift. And Sayyidah Aisha reports, one Sahabi came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, my mother has passed away, and if I do anything on her behalf, does it reach her? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, it reaches her. Meaning that what we do and the dua that we make here, and the reward of the actions that we donate and intend to give and present to the people, the Muslims who have passed away, it actually reaches them. It's like a gift. It's a means of ajr for them. It's a means, and for the pious, it's a means of elevating them, for their elevation and for their to raise their ranks in the afterlife. So that's putting that into perspective. So two things. We understand that as far as good actions are concerned, Sahih Muslim, whoever starts a good thing in the religion, and all the people who follow him, he will get the reward of all those people as without their reward decreasing. You start anything good in the religion. You decide to have, on a Wednesday evening, we'll get together and recite Quran. The Prophet ﷺ has not told you that Wednesday at this time every week you have to do it, but you decide to do it because it will create continuity. It will make the Muslims punctual in reciting and reading the Quran once a week at least. It's a good action, by all means. So alhamdulillah, the deen has a lot of scope. Don't be confused by people. Coming on to Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiAllahu ta'ala anhu, in literally minutes, I would just like to mention a few things. There are verses of the Quran which have been revealed for Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiAllahu ta'ala anhu. And one particular example that I would like to give from Surah Al-Layl, وَسَيُجَنَّبُهُ الْأَتْقَى الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. This particular, these verses, where the Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu is described as Atqa. Atqa meaning the most righteous or the most God-fearing. It's ism tafdeel, as we say in Arabic. It is the strongest expression of meaning. What was he doing, or why was this verse revealed for him? Because he had spent his wealth in the way of Allah, and according to this verse, the purpose was not to show people. to purify himself through giving in the way of Allah. And what did he give? As you remember, Sayyiduna Bilal, he was persecuted. His stones were put on his chest. He was beaten. He was tortured. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiAllahu ta'ala anhu, according to Imam Hafiz Abu Nu'aym, gave 5 heaps of gold to free Sayyiduna Bilal radiAllahu ta'ala anhu. And afterwards, some of the kuffar said to him, even if you bargained with us, if you had a bit of a discussion with us, the 5 would have come down to 1. So they were suggesting you wasted 4 heaps of gold. You could have given us less and we would have freed him. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr said, even if you asked for 100 heaps of gold, I would have given them to free Sayyidina Bilal. And this is the sign of a man of taqwa, that he gives in the way of Allah. And Surah Baqarah, in the very beginning of the Quran, early stages of the Quran, this is one sign of a God-fearing person, that he gives from what Allah has given him. And this was natural to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He turned away from this world. I'm literally filtering a few things. Some special qualities that he had. Some special things that were for him. One, he was the only one who was named, who had this title of Siddiq. He was given this recognition. Also, he was obviously the only companion to accompany the Prophet ﷺ in Ghar Thawr, in that cave, when they were on their way towards Madinatul Munawwarah and they stopped at the cave. He was given this honor to accompany the Prophet ﷺ. He tore his clothes to cover all the holes, and the last hole he covered with his heel, as you know the famous story. This honor was given only to him. He was the only companion who accompanied the Prophet ﷺ like this on journey. Another beautiful thing about him was that 4 of his generations were companions, including himself. His father was a companion, he was a companion, his son Abdul Rahman was a companion, and his grandson Muhammad was a companion as well. radiAllahu ta'ala anhu. So this was another beautiful thing about Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. And another beautiful special quality he had, he was ordered by the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to lead the prayer. And this was special to him. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the other Sahaba were present, but he ordered Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu to lead the prayer. As far as him being the best is concerned, Imam Bukhari has made it very clear. Sayyidina Ibn Umar says that in our time, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the best of the companions. And after him, Sayyidina Umar, after him, Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhum. This is the unanimous opinion of the scholars of the Ahlul Sunnah's consensus on this, that Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the best individual after the Prophet alayhi wassalam. So let us, write this on our hearts and never forget this. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu has been given this honor. Just like to end, his whole life expressed how he did not like this world, how he turned away from dunya. Once he was sitting, he went to a companion's house and he was thirsty. He asked for something to drink, and they brought a pitcher, a jug, which contained water that had been sweetened with honey. And when Sayyidina Abu Bakr realized what this was, he began to cry, really loudly crying, weeping. The Sahaba was shocked. Why is he crying so much? All we did was offer him a drink. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr then said, the reason why I'm crying is once I was sitting with the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet in his presence, and he began to say, get away from me, get off my back. And I said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't see anything. Who are you referring to? The Prophet ﷺ said, dunya, this world just came to me with its full adornment, with all its lure, and I told it to go away. And then it said to me that if you turn your back on me, I will not leave the people after you. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr said that I fear that it is the same dunya that has come after me when I saw this drink, and that made me cry. So making us realize that the root of evil and the reason why we move away from religion is because we love this world too much. May Allah Almighty save us from the love of this world. May Allah Almighty enable us to follow the way of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu.